hear it for Bianca and her student.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
A lot of fresh faces out there on this beautiful morning with this beautiful music we've got this morning. That's wonderful. And welcome. My name is Gary Hart. I'll be your worship associate today. Here's some words adapted from Angela O. Just remember, this is not just a building. It's a sanctuary. It has become a sanctuary and a sacred place by being graced by decades of blessings, prayers, and ceremonies. Thus has this space been made more than just glass and wood. It's truly a sanctuary. I'm pleased that you have chosen to honor this sanctuary with your presence. And announcements, your favorite part. Come join us to celebrate the life of Ray Waters, Saturday, December 16th at 11 o'clock here in the sanctuary. There'll be a current topics discussion group Wednesday, December 13th at 1:30 in the library. We get to talk about all the things that's wrong with the world and come up with solutions. We have an expression of gratitude. We want to thank Naresh Deo for always bringing flowers from his garden to the church on Sunday, William Kolsch for last week's flowers, and Amy Pham for today's beautiful arrangement. Now it's time for the chalice lighting. This chalice is lit in our hearts each time that we pray for vision, long for healing, forgive our enemies, comfort our neighbors, and prepare for Justice's Day. In its light, our hope and compassion are renewed, and the covenantal ties that bind each of all together become clear, as we once again honor this sanctuary.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is a fun morning, isn't it? It's so nice to have Bianca and her group here with us today, and then we have a lot of special treats for you. So, my name is the Reverend Chloe Briede. I'm an interim minister here at Pacific Unitarian Universalist Church. We are Unitarian Universalists. We are a progressive faith that believes in the worth and dignity of every person. We support others in their search for truth and meaning, giving them the freedom to determine their own religious beliefs. As a tradition, we draw from 6 sources of wisdom and direction, leaning on those for both our individual faiths and our collective wisdom. Our 4th source is Jewish and Christian teachings, which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. We are seeing that today in the gift of lovely string music, Christmas carols, and recognition today of Hanukkah, of which tonight is the 4th night of that holiday, having started on Thursday. I want to give you just a small note of caution. Hanukkah is not Jewish Christmas. If Christmas and Easter are the most significant holidays on the Christian calendar, and this is the 2nd Sunday of Advent leading up to Christmas, Hanukkah is, as some Jewish writers have put it, it doesn't even crack the top 5 of most important Jewish holidays. Hanukkah, though, is a time of celebrating, of being together with family and friends, and of the light continuing with the victory of a minority over a simulation, a victory over empire and oppression. Our opening words this morning are shared with me with Tracy Blender, who's a member of our church and a worship associate. And I think you also identify as a Jewish UU, right? You do. A Jew UU.
I'm going to open with this reading from Kendall Gibbons. First, put away the sewing. Set down the clock that is losing time and needs to be adjusted, the bank statements to be reconciled, the penmanship and spelling exercises to complete, the dried beans to sort by size. Look at the light. It's not to be spent in diligence, dutiful, illuminating tasks, but seen. From the eye to the mind, to the memory, to the heart, to the soul. From beauty to gratitude to faith. Praise the light and the source of light. Be inspired. Do not use the light. Do not lose the holiness of this moment in the press of ought to be done. It is forbidden to work by the light of these candles. Would you burn your lover's last letter for kindling? Watch the glow like jewels against the velvet of night sky. Waste this light in awe. As in the ancient temple it is said they burned the oil, profligate for reverence and thanks. Blessed is the shaping of our lives by commandment and memory. Blessed is the light.
Second, Gibbons says, second, put the lamp in a window, in a doorway on the balcony, in the front yard on the village green in Times Square. Release its beauty to public view. Do not hoard the light. It is not yours to gloat over in private. Wherever, whenever it is safe, announce the miracle. Invite the neighborhood to remember with you. Perhaps next door they only recall half the story from some dim childhood ritual. Perhaps your 4 flames, then 5, then 6, will wake their dedication anew. Or in the city of 1,000 names for God or none at all, those faithful candles might remind the hurried and the fallen, the defeated of heart, that beauty is yet possible, that the intention of higher purpose endures, even to rouse the captive mind to curiosity. What's the story with these lights? Is an opening for the work of the Spirit. Testify. Let the tongues of flame bear witness to the world that miracles abound and joy abides. Blessed is the heritage of freedom. Blessed is the custom that illuminates our common darkness. Blessed is the sharing of the light.
I'm going to bring my grandson Cash up to help me light the Hanukkah candles. And if anybody knows the prayer, please say it with us. Hi. All right. You know what? I'm going to take the Shamash candle, which is the candle we use for lighting. And we'll start our prayer. Rachatoi Adonai, Laheinu melech halam, Asher kadashanu b'mitzvotav v'tzuvanu, Lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah.
Our opening hymn this morning is Light One Candle. You're invited to stand as you're willing and able to sing Light One Candle.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with thanks that they're lighted and die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their pain to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. But light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. And light one candle to bring us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly? We keep it alive in that flame. What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? Have we come this far always believing that justice would somehow prevail? This is the burden and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cara, and I am the coordinator of religious education, and I am here for the Story for All Ages. So if the kids want to come on up, that would be great. Any other? Oh, we got one and more. Oh, good, awesome. A bunch this time. Okay. All right. So as I would imagine. Many of you know that today, I guess yesterday, the preschool had snow brought over. So there's snow on the playground. And so this week I was thinking about, snow. And I was thinking about, what makes snow unique and all of that. Everyone's always heard everyone's always heard the saying that every snowflake is unique. They're all different. So I was just thinking about that, how they're unique and how they're the same and everything like that. So I'm going to start by reading a book called The Weight of a Snowflake. Okay. On a winter afternoon filled with blue shadows and white snow, a chickadee perched on the thin branch of a maple tree and watched the snowflakes fall. A bright red cardinal flew over and landed nearby. "What you doing?" chirped the cardinal. "Watching snowflakes," said the chickadee. The cardinal cocked his head to one side. "What for?" "They're pretty, and each one is different. I haven't seen two that look the same." "A snowflake is a snowflake. That's what I say," said the cardinal. "And they're cold. Me, I can't wait until spring. This winter stuff is for mammals. They have fur on their toes." He lifted one foot and tucked it up under his feathers. "Us birds, all we got is scales." The chickadee nodded so that the little black cap on her head bobbed up and down, but she didn't say yes and she didn't say no. White snowflakes fell all around them, and the blue shadows deepened to gray. The cardinal put his foot down and hopped sideways on the branch to get a little closer to her. "What you doing now?" he asked. "Counting snowflakes," said the chickadee. The cardinal cocked his head to the other side. "What on sky for?" "I was just wondering, how many snowflakes would this branch hold?" "Don't worry about it. That's what I say," said the cardinal. "Snowflakes don't weigh anything." "Not anything?" "Well, almost not anything. Snowflakes weigh next to nothing. They don't count for anything, and they're all the same." He clacked his strong, curved beak once, twice, and then, "You know what, little chickadee? You should find something else to do. That's what I say." The chickadee nodded so the little black cap on her head bobbed up and down, but she didn't say yes, and she didn't say no. After a minute, the cardinal clacked his beak once more, then flapped his strong red wings and flew away. The chickadee stayed where she was, perched on the thin branch of the maple tree and counting the snowflakes as they fell. White snowflakes fell all around her, and the gray shadows slowly deepened to dusk. More snowflakes fell, each one different, each one beautiful. Some of them landed on the branch. Some of them landed on her. Snowflake after snowflake, each one weighing almost next to nothing, but each one counting for something. Because as the dusk deepened into the darkness, and as the chickadee counted snowflake number 10,303, that branch broke from the weight of the snow. The chickadee fell with the branch, but only for a moment. She flapped her wings and flew up into the snowflakes that fell from the sky, each snowflake different, and each snowflake beautiful, each snowflake counting for something in its own way. So I think that's a good story to show that snowflakes are different and the same. And that's one thing that I started looking into it, and I said, like, why are all the snowflakes different? And I always thought that it was because they're made different, but they're not. The snowflakes are all made the same. The structures are all the same. What makes them different is the journey down. They bump into different things, they get different particles, they attach to different things. So it's the experiences that the snowflakes have that make them all different. And that's kind of like what happens to all of us, right? Yeah. So anyway, this is the pictures of the snowflakes right here if you want to see. They all look, no, there's different kinds, but they all look structurally the same. If you want to see that, you can pass it around. So they're all the same. See that? They're all different. And then when we go out there in the snow, right now, you can go and you can see, if you can find two snowflakes that are the same. I have some magnifying glasses. Maybe we can look at those too. Try that? Okay. All right. Okay.
Now it's time for Candles of Joy and Sorrow. Here's some words from Liz James. Joys and concerns is one way that you use keep the ritual and the practice of holding one another in community. We do not light candles because we believe they have a supernatural power to them, but we do believe there is power in standing together in these moments. The ritual of sharing embodies that belief. If you would like, you may come forward and light a candle in silence or with a brief verbal expression of a special joy or sorrow. Come on down.
For all the joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts but unspoken today. So prayers for everyone. Our prayer today is from one of our Unitarian ancestors. The Reverend Dana McLean Greery was a Unitarian minister and the last president of the American Unitarian Association. Upon its merger with the Universalist Church in America, he was also the founding president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. This prayer from Dana McLean Greerly, is from March of 1974, so you might hear a little bit of that language in this prayer. I'd invite you to pray with me. Eternal Spirit of life, thou illuminable whole, of which we are parts, thou whom every planet is but a speck of dust in the infinitude of space, and yet for whom every person is the product of thy love. Thou source of the unfathomable mystery, of the wonder of this world, and yet also of the affinity of human hearts. Recreate our spirit within us, and give us inspiration and light and love and power. Make us more brave and more forgiving, more energetic and more peaceful, more ambitious for truth, and more resigned to the way things are. Enlighten our minds and warm our hearts, and help us pray inwardly both for love and for duty. Enlighten our minds and warm our hearts. Eternal Spirit of life. We'll take a moment of silence. Amen. Our first reading today comes from Dana Greeley, who we talked about just a second ago. and it's called The Knowledge of God. He says, "The knowledge of God is too wonderful for me. How can I measure or know the nature of 100,000 million billion stars, not to mention planets and moons? How can I plumb the depths of the inner psyche, which is as unfathomable as the heavens, though it is measured in love and fears and memories and dreams, instead of in light years? The earth is no longer flat and space is no longer geocentric. And if there is a God and God is infinite, there is no more likelihood that God is a resident at Mount Zion or Mount Olympus than in Orion or Pleiades. I think of God as the energy, a light or love or power or purpose that pulsates from one end of the metagalaxy to the other." And a second short reading from Jill Tarter. "We are made out of stardust. The iron and the hemoglobin molecules in the blood in your right hand came from a star that blew up 8 billion years ago. The iron in your left hand came from another star. We are the laws of chemistry and physics as they have played out here on earth." Our centering hymn this morning is number 357, "Bright Morning Stars," and you're welcome to stay seated.
Morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Day is a breaking in my soul. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? Day is a breaking in my soul. They are in the fields a plowing. They are in the fields a plowing. They are in the fields a plowing. Day is a breaking in my soul.
During my teenage years, my parents decided one summer to ship me off to France for a couple weeks. My dad is Dutch, and he had a cousin living there. I was learning French in school, and they figured this would be a good way to learn. While I didn't learn much French, languages have never been good for me. They've never come naturally to me. I did get to spend some memorable time exploring the French countryside. One experience during this trip has stuck with me. One night, I wandered outside and walked down the road from the house. They lived on an old farm in the middle of nowhere. And the further I walked, the darker it got. In fact, it got so dark that I couldn't see my hands in front of my face. Do you know that experience of it being so dark? You can't see your hand in front of your face. It was an all-encompassing darkness. The only thing that was visible was the starry night sky. It was like a blanket, a dark blanket that fell over me, and all I could see was stars. It was the first time that I can remember feeling completely enveloped by the sky. It was an awe-inspiring experience. Awe-inspiring. Justine Garter, in his book Maya, says, "There exists a world in terms of possibilities. This borders on the impossible. It would have been far more likely if by chance there was nothing at all. Then at least no one would have begun asking why there was nothing. There exists a world in terms of possibilities. This borders on the impossible." Garter is specifically trying to point out how extraordinary our evolution is, our existence. How extraordinary it is that we evolved, and that we evolved enough to be aware of ourselves and of our surroundings and of our role in our surroundings. The book, which combines a couple of different stories, has one in particular that points to this idea. In the story, Gardner uses anthropomorphism to describe a deck of cards. The cards are living, and the Joker is the only one aware of his own existence in the deck. The rest of the deck goes about saying profound things without really realizing their meaning. The Joker is the only one that makes sense of this. If we extrapolate this, we as humans get to play the role of the Joker. We have the ability to comprehend what a lot of other living beings cannot. We can comprehend our existence. This gets me to one of my own spiritual practices, and it's in fact inspired by Garter and his book and some of his other books. One of my spiritual practices is to try and recognize the awesomeness of our existence on a daily basis. I want to see plants growing all around us, their variety, their different flowers, the details of their flowers and their leaves. I want to see the buildings we build, all of their components and their large presence. I want to see paintings and observe how their brushstrokes and colors and realize how it all fits into this beautiful artistic whole. I want to taste good food, listen to beautiful music, and I want to remind myself to be in awe every single day. And sometimes I forget. A lot of times I forget. This is hard to remember sometimes, right? I'm often tempted to get bogged down into the monotony of our work and our lives. That's easy. The stress is easy sometimes. But every time I remind myself to be in awe, I feel newly inspired and humbled by this life I get to live and this power I have to be aware of it. For some, awe comes from observing God. This week is Hanukkah, the holiday that celebrates the story of oil provided for a lamp by God that lasted for 8 nights. The Rabbi Yoel Glick, who identifies with Jewish mysticism, is in talking about Hanukkah, says this, and he's quoting from the teachings of Rabbi Nathan Nemivrov. Hanukkah is the time when we receive this new light, the unique light that will illuminate the whole of the coming year. New light means further illumination of the mind. This illumination is expressed in greater clarity of vision. Our consciousness is covered over with layer after layer of illusion. When we receive extra illumination, we break through another level of the great illusion, which clouds our hearts and minds. Hanukkah is the moment of that breakthrough. Rabbi Glick seems to be saying that lighting a candle every night on Hanukkah and keeping those candles lit, each adding to another, enlightens those who practice, clearing the mind to see God and the universe anew with deeper clarity, deeper understanding. It is through this prayer and practice that a new awareness of God and God's greatness is realized. The practice of finding awe and seeing God through the lights of the menorah. Beautiful. And I, as a UU agnostic, may be in awe at the universe because of its creation by evolution and the amazing ways science explains how it all fits together. We are all practicing in our own ways an awareness of our existence and the awesomeness of it. One of my scientific heroes, or sheroes, continually reminds me to cultivate this sense of awe. Her name is Jill Tarter, and she's best known in science for her role as the former director of SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, intelligence. And probably in pop culture, she's best known for her role in inspiring the movie Contact. Jill acknowledges that the main character was in some ways modeled after her, but even without Contact, Jill stands as an inspirational scientist in her own right. In her 70s, she's now in her 70s, but early in life, Jill decided that she wanted to be an engineer. As she grew older, she spent time doing boy things and girl things with her father and mother, respectively. And she liked some of the boy things, fishing, taking things apart, playing in the woods. Her parents, though, as she got older, started to tell Jill that the way of the world meant she couldn't always do the boys' things. In a moment of angry rebellion, she thought of the most boy career she could come up with, and she decided right then and there that she would be an engineer. And she didn't even know much about what that actually meant, but that's what she picked. And her dad pushed her on this. She recounted him handing her a transistor radio and asking her to take it apart and put it back together again. She struggled, but she did it. Her dad died a couple of years later when she was 12. She decided then that what she had told her dad, she would do. She would be an engineer. And she says, God damn it, there's no way I was going to wimp out. And this drive continued all the way to Cornell University, despite being the only woman in her engineering school. 300 students, 299 of them were men. Jill was the only woman. No women's dorms were located near the engineering school, so she ran all the way across campus to get home and all the way across campus to use the bathroom. When she got married during her junior year, taking on the name Tarter, they tried to revoke her scholarship to Cornell. Procter & Gamble, who had sponsored her, were worried that she'd just drop out and have kids. How could a woman focus on marriage and college, they asked. Her dean stood up for her, and she kept the scholarship. She also graduated in 4 years instead of the expected 5. It was in a sampling of some classes after graduation that Jill decided to take a class on star formation. She discovered that she loved astronomy. Then she went for her PhD because of it to Berkeley. And to some extent, by chance that she did this, that she decided to go get a degree in astronomy, and she did it. Jill, in her PhD thesis, coined a term that may sound familiar to you all today. She named brown dwarfs stars in her dissertation, a celestial object intermediate in size between a giant planet and a small star, believed to emit mainly infrared radiation. But Jill always felt a little uncomfortable taking taxpayer money to do the fun stuff of investigating stars. It was when NASA released the report on Project Cyclops, an investigation in how to conduct SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, that Jill finally found her purpose. She could finally find the answer to the questions that had been in her mind since childhood. Are we alone, she says. This is the first time in history when we don't have to believe or not believe. Instead of just asking the priests and philosophers, we can try to find an answer. This is an old and important question, and I have an opportunity to change how we try to answer it. And despite various setbacks, funding cuts to SETI, divorce in Jill's personal life, she made looking for life beyond our earth her entire career. And Jill sometimes feels skeptical or even a little pessimistic about her work. As you know, SETI hasn't found anything yet, but the search still continues. Jill describes how far we've gotten in this search as taking a glass, and dipping it in the ocean and hoping that we'll get a fish with that water glass. She still believes in SETI, though, even if we're the only life in the universe, which is really statistically very, very unlikely. Looking for life outside ourselves teaches us to honor our own togetherness. That's what she believes. It teaches us to honor our own togetherness and to honor our evolution as humans, that we've gotten to this point to be able to do that. To find awe in looking not just out at our universe, but at ourselves and what we're capable of doing. Beloveds, let us remember, whether we're looking at the night sky on a clear day or celebrating God through lighting candles, through history and prayer, or if we're thinking about our evolution or even contemplating the idea of life beyond us, to practice awe, to remember and recognize the awesomeness of our existence and everything around us, to realize just how lucky we are to be here. May it be so. Amen.
I'd like to welcome Bianca and her group back one more time.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ will bring love's light, the dawn of Christmas Day, to lead us all from woe and sin when we have gone astray. O tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. O tidings of comfort and joy.
That was so good, I'd pay money to see that. And speaking of paying money, it's time for the offertory. We split our plate today with Shared Bread. Shared Bread began as a community outreach program by the First United Methodist Church of Redondo Beach on November 11th in 1992, and has since served over 150,000 warm, home-cooked meals for those in need. They are a fully volunteer-driven organization that partners with neighborhood churches, local businesses, schools, civic organizations, and neighbors to provide basic need items, health care, resources, and advocacy. So you should never question the value of volunteers. Remember, Noah's Ark was built by volunteers. The Titanic was built by professionals. Please give generously.
Per le fulgenti cupole dorate, la melodia dell'organo suonava. Lento moriva il dì sulle vetrate, una nube d'incenso al ciel volava. E dolcemente da ogni labbro uscia Ave Maria. Nella blanda mestizia di quell'ora, tutta serenità di paradiso, il cavaliere che sospira ogni ora m'apparve e a lungo ci guardammo in viso. Fu vana allora la preghiera mia Nell'azzurro del ciel stendi la mano a me infelice dal dolore affranta, de ch'io nel pianto non t'invochi in vano, arridi all'amor mia Vergine Santa. Abbia pietà di me, Vergine Santa. Ave Maria.
Very nice, Abraham, very nice.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now it's time for to join in and say the affirmation of gratitude. So let's be dynamic. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for enriched by their giving. Let us also be grateful even for our needs, so that we may experience the generosity of others. Time for the closing hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Please rise if you're able.
For the earth forever turning, for the skies for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons' harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to Thee. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to our blue-green hills of earth.
And if you will stay standing for us, and you're invited to get connected to the person next to you if you'd like that, or if you'd like to give yourself a hug. That's something I like to do as well, or you're welcome to stay seated. This church is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversities, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together. In spite of time and death and the space between the stars, we pause in silent witness to that unity.
May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts now and forevermore. So be it. Amen, shalom, salam, namaste, and blessed be. And now our service truly begins.
Shall we gather by the river, where bright angels' feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather by the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints by the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river. Soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with the melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather by the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints by the river that flows by the throne of God, that flows by the throne of God.
Thank you.